Welcome back to Open Line. It has been a really educational hour. Thanks to Dr. Henderson for being here from MTSU, Professor of Physics and Astronomy, teaching us all about the solar eclipse that's happening, by the way, if you hadn't heard, and I don't know where you've been if you haven't heard, next Monday afternoon. Dolly is on the line. Hi, Dolly. Thank you for your patience and hanging with us. What's your question tonight?
Yes. Is there a certain length of time to wear these glasses, like so many minutes, and then be sure you pull them off?
Okay, great question. That's what we wanted to talk about next, because safety is a big concern here. You can do serious damage, even blindness to your eyes, if you go about this wrong.
That absolutely could happen. And so that's a very good question. To address directly what you asked, no, the glasses are not going to get hot. While they're absorbing a little bit, and I think it's a good point, while they're absorbing some heat from the sun, it's not going to be to the point where they would be damaged. But moving on with that idea of how long and when to have the glasses, if you're going to look at the sun, the rule of thumb is put your glasses on. The only time where that's not the case, in fact, if you have eclipse glasses, you could go out right now and look at the sun. It's kind of an interesting thing to do. If there are sunspots, you can see them. So if you have eclipse glasses, you don't have to wait until Monday to get a little bit of use out of them. So maybe get 2 days of use. But that only time that you want to remove them, if you're going to be looking at the sun, is during that 1 to 2 minutes of totality at your house.
And so that means when the moon is totally in front of the sun, it is darkness, there's not even a little sliver showing.
What you'll notice is if you're using your glasses, everything's out. You can't see anything. Then you'll know, oh, okay.
And you can take them off, and it should last for about a minute, minute and a half.
That's right.
And then you need to put them back on when the moon starts moving the other way.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You got it.
We have Jan calling in. Hi, Jan.
Hi.
Go ahead with your question.
I have a question about the moon.
Okay.
The moon's going to make us cover the sun completely. It's going to be black dark. At night when the moon is shining, we have light from the moon. Where does that light come from?
That's a good astronomy question.
Yeah.
So honestly, we only have one source of light in our solar system, and it's the sun. So if you're seeing anything, that's light from the sun. So during the full moon phase, which you're talking about, the moon is not between the sun and the earth, it's on the other side of the earth. So at nighttime, when our backs are to the sun, you might say, we look at the moon and it's completely lit up. So that's the full moon phase. So what we're seeing is light from the sun reflecting off of the moon and then coming back and hitting our eyes. So you always are seeing, if you're looking in space, you're seeing either a star or light from a star. The reason we won't see that light coming on Monday is that instead of the full moon phase, the moon is on the other side of Earth between us and the sun, and it's in the new phase, so it can be dark during that time. That's a good question.
It's a great question. We've had fabulous questions. Thank you so much for calling in tonight.
We've had the smartest audience ever.
I know, and you said your kids said you would get no questions tonight. You tell them we got tons. What are you most excited about for Monday?
Oh, I just can't wait for totality.
Yeah.
It's something I've never experienced before, and as I told you earlier, I've seen some videos, I've heard some audio of that experience, and I can't wait. I want to see the corona as well, because I know that that's something that no one can see without some kind of an aid, except during the total solar eclipse, and it's just beautiful. I've got one chance in my lifetime if I'm going to stay in Middle Tennessee, and I just can't wait. It's going to be gorgeous.
I have a question about variables. You know, when we look at weather, which I know obviously is different than astronomy and that sort of thing, there are so many things that go into making the forecast for our meteorologists, and one slight little, you know, pattern shift changes things. With this, are there a lot of variables like, well, we weren't quite there on Monday? Or
good question. I would say for the most part, there's almost no variability. So astronomers know exactly where every planet and where our moon is and where the sun is at any given time. And so we have computer models that are super accurate. We can predict every eclipse from thousands of years in the past. We can predict every eclipse that's coming for thousands of years to the future. Where there could be a little variability is just in the exact shape of the outer edges of the shadow. Because while the same face of the moon is towards Earth all year long, we see only one face. It wiggles a little, it wobbles just a little, so maybe about a 2% change. And so it could be a different mountain today than it was yesterday on the very outer edge, but all that really does is on the fringe of the shadow, it might move it let's say, a quarter of a mile one way or another. So NASA, though, takes that into account. And so the updated models, if you're looking at the path of the eclipse from them, is going to be pretty much right on.
And in Nashville area, we are covered by it. Hopkinsville, Kentucky is supposed to be one of the meccas to see it. MTSU is right there. So
if you look from where the eclipse started in the Pacific until where it ended in the Atlantic, Hopkinsville is in the middle.
It's amazing.
Right here close to us.
Yeah, and not too far in the distant future, we have a chance. Some people in not so far away from us can see another one.
That's true. Again, it could be thousands of years, but in this case, in the year 2024, so about 7 years from now, there'll be another total solar eclipse. We know exactly how they happen. It's just going to be a different one, where instead of going east and from west to the east, it's going to be going more south to north. And so there is a place in the U.S. where these two paths will cross. So the one we have this year will intersect with the one that happens in 7 years.
Okay.
And there'll be a little, something like a 70 by 70 mile square, where those people will see two eclipses in only 7 years.
And Paducah is in that. That's not far to get to from here.
Paducah's there. It's centered pretty near Carbondale, Illinois.
And they're prime viewing too for this go round.
They're prime viewing both times.
That's
just
amazing.
Not fair.
Well, I know you'll be taking a trip in 7 years.
I think I will.
God willing, you'll be going to another one. All right, we're going to come back, answer any last minute questions you have, so stay right where you are.